I tell people that when you dream about not being a basketball player, but when you have a dream, I said at one time, you know, just walking the streets of New York and stuff like that, I dreamt that I was part of the Knights of the Round Table. I had armor around me because there was so many things that was going on. People were getting shot, people were getting stabbed. You know, you talk about it wasn't cocaine in the late 60s, 70s, okay? It became heroin. Okay, my two brothers was on that. Okay, so I had to get them out of there. But I think that because of a dream of playing sports, okay, it kept me from doing other things. Okay, it was a kind of, it wasn't a blessing that I played in the NBA. I tell people, no, it was my mentorship that helped me strive to get, first of all, the education, okay, because you know this, and anybody who don't know, if they're listening, if you don't go to school, you can't play on the team.
That's right.
Okay, and with the coaches that mentored me, if you didn't keep your grades up, okay, you couldn't play on the team. So I failed off at Clinton in my sophomore year, and people say, well, you got kicked off. Whatever you want to know, that's what happens, fine. But coming from me, I'm saying I was negligent because I didn't go to class and do what I was supposed to do in class, okay? And all they was trying to do is give you a template of this is what's going to happen when you go to college, okay? You become a student athlete, you know, and a lot of guys now leaving early and stuff like that to play or just get a chance to play in the I call it the biggest league, which is the NBA. But it's not a North American game anymore. You're talking about it's people from all over, okay? And I say people because they got men and women now.
Yeah.
Okay. We just saw the WNBA playoffs, and some of them ladies do go to school, okay, and get their education, but some of them are not from North America, okay? Even though they transfer from wherever they from, you know, you're talking about Brazil, France, Italy, to come here to go to school and get their education and also get a chance to play in the WNBA. And I think that if I have any kind of input with some of the guys, I would tell them to get their education first, because there are probably about 400 guys. We're talking about men that play in the NBA now. But when you look at the pyramid starts down here: elementary, junior high, high school, college, and then you talk about the NBA. But between the NBA, you talk about, I call it, it's called the G League now, which is like baseball. Okay, baseball has maybe 3 different facets before you get to the majors.
Yeah.
They got minor 1, minor 2, minor 3 before you move up. Well, the NBA has what they call a G League now. And some of them guys get drafted, okay, first and second round, and don't get a chance to play in the NBA for years. So my input to them is, whether I'm not going to mention any school, whether you go to university, you go to Division 1, 2, or 3, get your education, because if you get a chance to play, you can always, when you retire, fall back on your education. And people say, well, what happened with you? And I'm proud to say that I didn't graduate on time when I went to, it was called Texas Western.
Yes.
It became the University of Texas El Paso. I tell people I had to go back to summer school because the coach is saying, I'm not giving you a degree, okay, just because you're playing in the NBA.
Right.
But I had promised my mother that I was going to get my undergrad degree, and she knew that I got drafted and I was playing and stuff like that. So I moved her out to Long Island, out to Roosevelt, and she was saying that, okay, I know that you're playing in the NBA, but where's my degree at? And I'm saying, your degree? She said, yeah. I don't care about your basketball career. I want you to go to school and get my degree back. Okay, so I went 2-3 years in the summer. You can ask anybody, and I told people I graduated. And a lot of guys, I'm gonna give you a couple names that went back, okay, because they felt that they owed it to themselves. Vince Carter, okay, you talk about Stephen Curry, okay, those guys went back, and you're saying, damn, them guys, well, I'm talking about Curry now, making $30-40 million in a year.
Why go back, right?
Okay, why go back? But I think that he's saying that I want to, when I communicate and interact with youngsters, I want them to know that I went back and got my education. It doesn't matter how much money I made, but I want to make sure that they know that I have a college degree. I might not be the smartest person in the world, but I went back and got a college degree.
You reached the highest peak in basketball, but yet you came back to the city and gave yourself to youngsters. Like, what does that mean to you? Because I know what it means to us hearing that and seeing that.
It meant that the people, and I did a little bit of that, but I think that they molded me. Okay, you talking about Floyd Lane, Hilton White, Miles Dorch, you know, Skinny Reed, you know, Ray Felix. They molded me, you know, and I'm watching what they do for us. Okay, so and people always say, well, you gave it back. No, it's part of a torch, like not like the Olympics, but it's a torch that they passed on to you, and if it's not in here, then you're not going to do it. Okay, so I felt that if I could help more people like they did, then the gratification would be, the rewards would be, thank you. That's what the rewards is. No financial or monetary rewards or stuff like that. The rewards would be thank you, okay? And I get that all the time. Guys says, man, we miss you. We want to run a tournament here. I said, well, I'm going to come and watch y'all. But I said, I'm not retired, but I'll sit there and watch. I'm a spectator now, okay? What I did for y'all, that you have to do for others.
Well, one of the things that I'm doing now with this podcast is making sure we keep New York City history alive. And it's because of gentlemen like yourself that we want to make sure that the kids and the next generation and the generation after that from New York City, because you're known worldwide, but we want to make sure the kids coming up know who Nate Tiny Archibald is and what you stand for, man. So we definitely appreciate you.
Thank you.
And hopefully we can get a extended sit down and we can.
Oh yeah, we could do that, because you know, when people talk about the basketball part, I don't really go into that.
Yes.
Okay, I tell people that, you know, some of us struggled early on when we was in school. Mm-hmm. Okay, so yeah, I got my diploma from DeWitt Clinton. I went and got my degree, undergrad degree, from University of Texas El Paso, because the name changed. But I also went back to school, okay? And I'm going up to Harvard to talk to the people and see if I could get back in school, because I got a degree I got a master's from Fordham, and I got a PD, professional degree in supervision and administration from Fordham. But you know this, as you go up, and it's not the ladder, as you go up in education, it costs more.
Yes.
Okay, so my thing is, can somebody defrate the cost so I could get in?
Right,
okay, because I think that I could excel that way, but I don't want to have the weight on me where I got to do something financially where I have other things I have to do to pay bills.
And this is so funny that you mentioned this before, right? It was through this show that I learned that you only played 1 year in high school. I didn't know that. Right. I didn't know that. And I think I posted on my page, your team. I think you guys had like 24, 27 people on the team. Right. I thought Alexander Hamilton had a lot of players. When I saw this picture, I couldn't believe it. I think it was the 1967 team. Right. Yeah.
Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah. You have just stepped into the world of